We're here at Triple Tree for the annual fly-in. We've been missing everyone for about 2 years now, so we're back. And I've got Mr. Jim Wilson here from the famous Wilsonville, and him and his wife Eileen. They are very supportive of Triple Tree. Come here a lot. They've been big friends of Triple Tree since the beginning. And I'm here with Jim, and Jim has his Travelair. So, hey Jim, how you doing, buddy?
Good morning, Wes. How you doing today?
Doing great. And could you tell me, Jim, how you got started on this project? What created it, or what prompted you to do this?
Well, the only thing I've had a clear thought about since I was about 7 was airplanes and flying, and I started rebuilding my first airplane, a Clipwing Cub, when I was 18. And so I had done several projects, and about the mid-90s I was looking for something that I kind of tend toward projects that are headed for the grave and the difficult stuff. And so I was looking for an airplane that just wasn't gonna make it for the rest of history. And I found this project in Indiana. There was about as much there that we could have a short conversation about. And I started. It was the goal was to make a Speedwing Travelair. And
So when you found this plane, how many parts did you actually have?
do you really want to ask that question? How many fingers you got on your hand?
Got 5 fingers. So could you say that what you had, you could basically put in a 5-gallon bucket?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So
There was a couple pieces you could hang over your arm, but
so you basically had the data plate.
I had the data plate and some remnants.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many hours would you say are in this plane as of right now?
I have not the faintest idea, and I have no way of even calculating that. However, I have sat down and thought that it's got about 12 years of straight time work in it. It's got 10 years of everyday work, and 2 years prior to that. So.
Okay, and I understand that the amount of research you done on this plane, you could have probably built 3 planes.
Or
Just
4,
that time.
or 4. This, first of all, I wanted as historically accurate airplane as I could get. I was converting this thing from a model E4000 to what's called a D4D, which is a Speedwing Travelair with a Wright J67 on it.
Can you tell us what a Speedwing is?
A Speedwing Travelair, the standard wings that most people are familiar with in a Travelair are the elephant ears. It's the wing that looks like has a counterbalanced aileron like a Fokker triplane, which that's most people are familiar with that wing. Travelair also made a round tip standard wing, and in about 1929 they made some wings for one of their airplanes for racing, and they called them speed wings. They are much thinner, a little bit shorter, and much thinner. In fact, it's got the same airfoil as the Beech Stagger wing. Walter Beech used the same airfoil in the Beech Stagger wing.
So this plane can cruise at what speed?
Well, it'll cruise up to around 110, 15, 20, depending on how far you want to push it up. Point of diminishing return, I cruise about 105 mile an hour with it.
And so for a 1928 aircraft, that's pretty fast.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. A lot faster than a Stearman or the
Well,
biplanes
when
of
this thing
that.
was first done, they raced these things in air tours and reliability runs, and the Travelairs did extremely well.
So speaking of racing, I understand that a very famous racer once flew this plane.
Well, this airplane was basically owned by 2 people for its whole operational life. The first owner was Dean Banks, who, if you Google Dean Banks, you will find that he was Pancho Barnes' cousin and a guy that convinced her to learn to fly. And Dean owned the airplane for a year. And last year, Eileen and I went to Edwards Air Force Base and got access to Pancho Barnes' logbook and found out that she had flown the airplane, 4 or 5 occasions in 1929. And of course, the Banks family sent me 1928 and 29 movies of the airplane which is pretty historically significant. Dean Banks owned the airplane for only a year. When Pancho bought a bigger airplane, he had to have a bigger airplane, and so this airplane originally started out with a 110 Warner on it, which is about enough power to taxi fast. He just wanted something a little bit.
He wanted something a little more sporty.
He wanted something more sporty because she had something more sporty.
So it was almost like us guys and women too, because Pancho Barnes was, of course, a woman, but they had that thing. They had to outrun their friend.
That's correct, and of course she was into the fastest and the most widest impression she could make. She was all up for that.
So in the restoration of this plane, what would you say was the most difficult task?
Making airplane parts is pretty easy for me. I mean, when I did this restoration, first of all, I did it all. I even overhauled the engine myself. The only thing I didn't do was overhaul the propeller. And I chickened out on hand painting the logo on the tail, but other than that, I did everything else, the woodwork, the welding, the upholstery, all that kind of good stuff. The most difficult part by far was what I had to do to get approvals to make these changes, and to make sure that the airplane was made as it came from the factory. Just a lot of details that are not documented. Traveler never documented a secondary structure. And the speed wings were drawings that were basically unreadable. And so there's just a lot of research and a lot of work to get the approvals that I needed to make the changes that I wanted to make. Specifically the engine and propeller combination, the speed wings and all that.
And I understand right now this is one of three that are only existing, right?
The factory produced three D4D airplanes back in 1929 and 30. They brought two airplanes back to the factory and had them converted. One of them, people would maybe recognize that had been around a while as one of the Pepsi Skyriders. Was an airplane that was put in active service in 1930, and until Pepsi got done with it and it went into the Udvar Hazy Center, it was probably one of the longest flying Speedwing D4D Travelers. There are several other other than less than 10 Speedwing Travelers flying in the country with the Wright and Speed Wings. And there are about two or three basket case D4Ds and a few that were converted. So there's somewhere less than 10 in existence. And of course, this has been converted to a D4D, but in today's regulatory environment, I can't physically change the registration to a D4D. It's still registered as a Model 4000.
Well, that's incredible, Jim. Thanks so much for bringing this plane up. Thanks so much for sharing your and Eileen's passion for aviation with Triple Tree, and we look forward to seeing you guys every year. I'm going to walk around the plane, show you some detail of it, and y'all can come on out because the weather's clearing up, it's drying up, and Jim, we're going to have a great time, aren't we?
Well, we always have a great time at Triple Tree. This is a hard point on our calendar, and we will be here, period, end of story. So we appreciate very much what you all do, and especially the opportunity to have a place like this in this state, and that we're capable of bringing an airplane or crawling here, however we need to get here. We love it.
Yeah, I noticed they came in Monday and kind of skirted in between rain sails, and I mean, the plane is just awesome. And it also has something that a lot of people don't see nowadays. It's got a centrifugal start. Is that what you'd call it?
Called an inertial starter.
Yeah.
Right.
So Jim actually gets out, he's got a crank, you put in the side of it, you wind it up, then you go over and get in the cockpit, then you can engage it and start the plane. So we have a video of that too. We'll share that with you guys. So I'm going to go around the plane and just let you look at it. And if you see Jim, thank him for his time, thank him for his patriotism of Triple Tree, and come and see us. So thanks a lot, Jim.
Certainly.
So guys, you can see us clearing up here at Triple Tree, so come on out, we're gonna have a great time. Thanks for watching.